This week on Falappi's Garage, we're going to figure out why this more or less brand new snowblower is leaking gas everywhere. Let's get into it, guys. Watch what happens when I push the primer. That ain't supposed to be shooting gas out like that. As you can see, this gasket's completely blown out. But this is not what you're supposed to do, but you'll have that. Ooh, another one of these. So there's really nothing all that interesting about that. Oh yeah. Welcome back to the channel, guys, and if you're new to the channel, why don't you think about going on over and subscribing, checking out the past 2.5 years worth of videos. A lot of great stuff, small engines, you know, cars, tools, exploration, a lot of cool stuff. But today is something important because for the first time today, we have our first paying customer. Somebody actually decided to entrust me with their outdoor power equipment. That's kind of scary. If this is your first time watching the channel, I'm a Honda mechanic by day, and by night and weekend I like to play around with small engines. So what we have here today is a brand new, well, it's 2022 date code, but as you can see, it still has the tags on it. I'll get you in there in a minute to look at it, but apparently it's never seen snow, and for whatever reason it's leaking gas everywhere. I knew by looking at it for 2 minutes that either it's gonna be something stupid that we can fix in 8 seconds, or it's gonna be something more involved. But I think I better just get you in there and show it to you. So let's do it, guys. So what we have here is your average MTD Lowe's snowblower. This guy, it's labeled as a Craftsman. You could read that if you want. 123cc. I don't know if it says anywhere here who actually makes this engine. I'm not 100% sure. Doesn't say. It's so cheap, but I mean, it's basically either got to be a Honda design, a Briggs design, or that's about it. It looks a little bit different than the Briggs, and you know, the way this pull start is makes me think it's kind of like a Honda, but Briggs uses these too, so I don't know. Once we get it torn apart, maybe we'll get a little bit better of an idea of what it actually is. But either way, it's an MTD. It says over here MTD LTC. For those of you who don't know, these are all rebranded. Craftsman doesn't make this thing. It's all LTD, or MTD should I say. And they used to use, you know, 25, 30 years ago, this would have had a 2-stroke in it. It's a 4-cycle. This is your oil port down here. You know, the oil level's fine. But like what I said, our issue is the gas. Watch what happens when I push the primer. That ain't supposed to be shooting gas out like that. So basically what I'm going to do is go ahead in here, tear this cover off, and just start getting into it, because I have a feeling it's going to be something pretty stupid that we could fix pretty quick, and then turn this thing around, and hopefully I don't even have to unload it out of my truck. I can just, you know, go off and deliver it right out of here. So let's get into it. Drink of the day today is the Pepsi. Everybody always says Pepsi or Coke. I personally prefer Dr. Pepper, but these were on sale at a Cohen somewhere in the greater Mon Valley area. So someone once said, you know, what's your favorite beer? And the answer to that is whatever's, you know, whatever's on sale or whatever's free. And the same goes for just about everything else. You know, the order of everything is whatever your favorite is, what's on sale, and then, you know, whatever you can get for like no money. went ahead and grabbed the nut drivers here. If you haven't watched my channel, you know I'm a big tool guy, and then, you know, I have thousands of dollars worth of Snap-on stuff at home, or should I say at work. But when I'm working out here, the Husky nut driver, 9 times out of 10, does 100% of whatever it is I need. Yep, this is a whole carburetor coming. Can I not just take off only this plastic cover? Dismantle the whole carburetor out of there. This is a different design other than the ones that I've seen over the years. I can't say that I necessarily like it all that much. I'm gonna take a wild guess. The part of the issue might be this poorly gasketed together piece of metal. Or actually, I think what it is when you push the primer, she leaks out of there. I think all we really have is a poorly gasketed together bowl seal. But since this looks like a terribly put together piece of gasketing, I might just take the razor blade to this and go ahead and regasket this back together too. I knew it would be something dumb like this. Let me get you in there and show you what I'm talking about. The hardest part of these sometimes is going ahead and getting these linkages disconnected, and then also, even more so than getting them disconnected, is figuring out how to reconnect them whenever you're done. When I work at Honda and you do stuff like that, Honda will tell you that you should take pictures of stuff and do stuff like that, but you don't need to worry about actually knowing how to put it back together. You just need to put it back together close enough to call her good, you know what I'm saying? I'll just let all the gas leak out on the back of the Hemi long bed. And if you like this truck that you see in the background, there's 2 videos on this and more to come. The old Hemi long bed here, you know, she's the 2012 Dodge variety, and I'd like to call her a shipping crate, but unfortunately she doesn't even have the Cummins because it's a 1500. She got the Hemi, so I don't know. I like the Hemi, but at the same time this truck's kind of not the best. Anyway, I need to grab a tool and then we'll be back with you. I grabbed the tool and now I'm back with you guys. Whoever invented these 2-prong dual hose clamps can go and do whatever, but she just leaks all the fresh gas right down into the environment.
How dare you!
EV purists can rue the day. Anyone out there have any good tricks for stuck hoses? Because, you know, giving them all the way with the pliers, I know, is not the right thing to do. And then you've removed your, you know, Huai? How would you pronounce that name? Huai? I don't know. It makes me wonder what kind of engine this even is. It says nowhere on here. They used to be pretty proud of their small engines. They would say whether or not it was a Briggs, or whether or not it was a Tecumseh, or whether or not it was a Kohler or a Kubota or whatever. Nowadays, they just stick any random engine in there. So if anyone knows about this Craftsman 123cc and knows what engine this is, let me know in the comments, because I have absolutely no idea what engine's in here or what's supposed to be in here. But It's in here. I guess so. If anyone's watching this channel for the first time and doesn't know the lore of Falappi's garage or any of that stuff, you'll know that I don't actually have any power tools out here. So you got to work with what you have. And yeah, that is the most absolutely just... Someone sealed this carburetor at 5 p.m. on a Friday. And look, I've been there. But what are you doing with that? You're not doing that. That's not happening. So, unfortunately, for this one's, it's done. So I got to look and see what I could even find to put in there. But I have some ideas. Stay tuned. Good evening. Mike the editor here. Brought to you by Bush Ice. Anyway, what I'm about to do with RTV, Honda Bond HT, as we call it, Honda Bond, it's a Honda product. I got it for the low price of $0 left over from some oil pan or not head gasket, that would be horrendous. Valve cover gasket, engine cover, reseal. Anyway, what I'm about to do with Honda Bond, I knew it wasn't really going to work from the onset, but we were running out of time, we were running out of energy, and I kind of knew I was going to have to buy a carburetor. And then, as you'll see on down the line, not only a carburetor, but we ended up having to buy even more parts later. Now, I screwed myself over with the Honda Bond. I probably could have been done with just the carburetor had I not slathered Honda Bond over everything. Anyway, don't do what I'm about to do. It was worth a shot, because if I could have got it done in one go, I could have got rid of the snowblower that night, got it back to the customer, and been done with it. But I should have known better. I failed. Don't do it. It's for comedy. It's for entertainment, not education. That's why guys like Vice Grip Garage, Dan's Pro Shop, they put those things at the beginning of the video. If you're going to do what I'm going to do, just be advised it might not work. And in this case, it didn't. But in true Falappi's Garage fashion, I left it in, and we'll show it anyway. Anyway, back to the Dirty Derelict production. See you a little later on. So I got the old, carburetor torn apart here. As you can see, this gasket's completely blown out. You can see where somebody went ahead and kinked it. So I'm going to do the right thing.
Wrong.
And put it back in there. I'm going to go get the RTV.
Wrong.
And I'm going to RTV this down.
Wrong.
See if it works. That way I don't have to worry about trying to buy the right O-ring, because RTV is better anyway.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
So I'm sitting here editing the Dirty Derelict production here, and I got the Stella Cider, which, wait until you guys see the video review on that. Holy shit, that stuff's good. Anyway, I just was wondering, as I'm editing the Dirty Derelict production here, like, who's scarier? Is this deranged, demented, version of Greta scarier? Or is it me? Are you gonna have nightmares at night from seeing this picture? I don't know. Either way, it's getting down. Oh yeah, Stella Cider. Back to the video. So this here is Honda Bond. This is actually oil pan gasket sealant. For the record, this is not what you're supposed to do, but you'll have that. It's a good job. I'm just going to take it and lay a bead all the way around the outside of here. gasket, by the way. Like, this gasket really should not get reused, but these cheap pieces of junk, they don't even really care about them, so they're hard to find parts for. You're gonna take this thing here, go ahead and just put it in her. Then take your John Pizzi 10 mil on her. Then for even better, go ahead and lay a bead around the outside.
So I'm still editing the production, and as you can see here, we've just got to the part where I'm reinstalling the carburetor after I fiddled around for about 64 hours with the Honda Bond. And as you'll see, this shit's starting to run a little bit over time. We're already at 25 minutes, and yeah, I spent about another 5 or 10 minutes of footage putting the damn carburetor back on, and playing around with Honda Bond even more. And basically, you get to this point here where, let me just zoom through this real quick. Yeah, see this? Yeah, right here, that's the moment where I fucked up big time. Yeah, anyway, we're gonna skip to the part where I go ahead and learn that this didn't work, which I already knew it wouldn't work, where I go ahead and prime it and it just leaks immediately, and then we'll cut to installing the new carburetor. And then when we install the new carburetor, then you'll see that I messed this seal up, and then we'll cut to the end where everything actually goes back together the way that it's supposed to do. And my hands are like stupid, but as you can see, we got another Stella cider. We're just chugging along. I basically committed to not going anywhere today at this point. And then even though I ate McNasty for breakfast, I might go and eat McNasty for dinner again, because that's fine. You can eat McNasty twice in one day when you're literally 2 blocks away. Anyway, back.
Got her off the truck. Let's see if she runs or leaks. Unfortunately, it looks like we've got a leak on our hands. I don't know if you can see me, but yeah. As is usually the case, unfortunately for our customer, Gonna have to do some research and see whether buying just a gasket is cheaper or an option, or if I gotta buy the whole carb, or what I'm gonna do. But yeah, cheaping out and doing the, doing the easy carb rebuild with the Honda Bond, not gonna happen. So gotta wait for parts, and then we'll get back on this. It's another day. Clearly I'm not in a Honda uniform anymore. And check out that spiffy hat. We can now rep the Busch Latte even when we're out at the shop and not drinking Busch Latte. Anyway, we got our new, OEM carburetor in the mail from Scamazon Primo. Ordered it on a Thursday, showed up on a Saturday, and well, it's Monday when I'm putting it on. So let's go ahead and open it up and just see what we got going here. And it's cold out here in the great state of Pennsylvania today. Never got above the, I think, 53 degrees. So that's just perfect. Nice. They sent this little box in a big box. So just you do the right thing. Put that in the back of the Hemi long bed and not worry about it. So then you get to unbox the unboxing. Take your Stanley branded knife here. Give her all away. And then we open up the brand new FitBest new carburet 10956A-951-1009-56A. New. Made in China. And believe it or not, she looks just like the dirty old one that came off of here. Mostly, I believe. Right down to the fact that she's even marked. It said FitBest, but she's even marked with the Huai. So the fact that it's marked Huai, and it didn't say anything about Huai, tells me one of two things. Either our carburetor from Amazon is some form of, knockoff, or, MTDpartsdirect.com is lying and overcharging the consumer. See, I went to see if I could buy the actual carburetor from good old MTD. Shout out, drink of the day, the Canada Dry Zero Sugar. I don't drink the diet because it's healthy for you. I drink it because it burns a little bit more. There's more gas in it. I guess when they take the sugar out, they got to put a little more gas in it, so it burns a little bit better going down the throat, and it brings everything back around. But anyway, I looked on the MTD Parts Direct, and first of all, they wanted $99 for the same carburetor. And secondly, it was out of stock, back order, no ETA. So, you could say, hey, Mike, aren't you cheating your customer by buying the from FitBest on Amazon instead of the from, I don't know, the good old MTD Parts Direct? But the way I look at it is, they look the same. The serial numbers say they fit the same, and they're both carburetors. So, really, I don't think I'm scamming the consumer. I think it's MTD Parts Direct scamming the consumer, and I will tell you each and every day of the week, I am not a fan of MTD. I do not like their products. You could never catch me dead buying one of these rebranded, rebadged Craftsman, Cub Cadet, John Deere, Yard Machine, whatever, pieces of junk that, they're rebadged. I don't think that my customer knows that kind of stuff. They just got a good deal on one of these. So, my job isn't really here to question why. My job is to make it run and get them back to her and then go back to using my own. good old Snow Boss from like 25, 30 years ago, or my MTD yard machine that has an actual Briggs and Stratton. It's not even a Briggs and Stratton, it's Tecumseh 2-stroke instead of this dirty old piece of equipment. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. And before anyone says, you know, yes, I know the only reason that this carburetor needs replaced is because the gasket is bad. I got this carburetor for the low price of $15.99, and they wanted $10.99 for the gasket. There was no way to tell whether it was legitimately the OEM or OEM Plus gasket. So yeah, apparently that is a OEM carburetor because it's... So, you know, for $5 more, hopefully my customer has something that they can trust and something that's not going to leak out all over the place. So yeah, let's get the old carburetor off, get the new carburetor on, and I don't know, maybe we just time-lapse taking it off and whatever, because you've already seen it once, but hey, you want to see it again, don't you? 5 million views and we'll make a t-shirt that says "Who I am." Let's get into it. Now, just on first glance here, the new Huayai carburetor is not exactly the same Huayai carburetor, same model number and everything that came off of here, but I don't see any reason why this one won't work. The only real difference I notice is if you look at the old carburetor, she got the angle down here, and on the new one, it's just a straight tip, but there's more than enough. There's more than enough cable to, you know, account for that. And at the end of the day, I don't think that our, you know, good old customer here is going to have any issues. All that I really care about is the fact that it says that it's a Huayai, and I don't see any issues with this unit. So this new one here does come with new gaskets. If the old one will come off, which I don't see why it shouldn't. Old gasket's like welded to it. It also came with a new primer bulb too, and it came with new primer bulb line. But the thing is, I don't think our new primer bulb line is long enough, so I'll just use the new primer bulb and reuse the old line. Why? Why not, you know?
Let's cancel the date.
Why would we do that?
Why not?
So we'll just get our primer just all dialed up in here. Oh yeah. All that gas smell right up in the nose, you know. And that ain't no Galaxy gas.
Bet they won't have. Wow, they have it! Motherfucking Galaxy gas!
That's the real E, or not E, but just 87 octane, you know. You don't need to worry about running small engine gas in a small engine. If you say what I'm knowing and it be is are the way that it be. Now the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and give her the prime. And hard to believe that this derelict piece of equipment leaks just like the other one. I'll never understand it.
So, if you're still watching this, this is the part of the video where I start to think, you know, oh hell, you know, I just replaced everything and why is it still leaking? Well, you see, I still didn't realize that I messed up that gasket plate. In fact, you know, it wasn't until I tried to, you know, fiddle with making a gasket to put over the gasket plate and mess around with the brand new gaskets they gave me and mess around with the original gaskets they gave me and run around in circles for 2 hours and do a bunch of tomfoolery and bullshit until I finally realized, maybe that RTV was actually a gasket. I know. Anyway. Yeah. So we mess around for a while. I might cut some of this footage in, but basically this is just me to clear the air so I don't look like I'm a complete and total buffoon for the next, 20 minutes of useless footage, It was that plate. I should have never scraped it off. I should have never put RTV on it in the first place. And again, I paid the price. But, that's, you'll have that, I'm just here, we're on number 3, Stella Cider. And yeah, this has been a fun afternoon of editing. I sat down to do this at 1 o'clock, and I think it's almost 4:30, so I hope someone watches this production, And while you're here, you might as well, like the video and then subscribe to the channel, because if you think this is good, things are only going up here in the next couple of months, so stick with us.
So where's this one leaking from? The bowl? This one's also leaking from the bowl. I don't think this one's leaking from the bowl. This one I think we could fix with just not these shitty Amazon paper dissolve. It's like, who made these? Come with me. So what we have here is actual Permatex gasket paper. If I can get it to lay flat long enough to do anything with it. And I got the spacer that probably was supposed to be in there. And what I'm gonna do, that you can't even really see, is I'm gonna go ahead and take this and take the good old writing utensil here. If I can get my Permatex gasket paper to sit flat for 8 seconds. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the Sharpie. I'm gonna go ahead and trace out this gasket. And I'm gonna cut it out. You can't even really see it, and that's a terrible looking. It looks terrible, but it's gonna be better than what we had, and I'll show you my finished project. Actually, I'm gonna make 2. one for the front and one for the back. I know the one on the back side's not exactly the same size, but this will be better than nothing. So I'm gonna cut them out and then I'll show you what I come up with. Let's see if the dirty old Huai will prime now without leaking. It's another day, way too many days later, and we're finally back on the old snowblower once again. Drink of the day. She's a special one here. This is the Monster Energy Ultra Red. I think white Monster. This is a red Monster. Oh yeah. The perfect afternoon snack when your lunch was a dirty old PS Light. And for those of you that don't know what PS Light is, it's Pennsylvania style light beer. It's the cheapest, most derelict beer you can get at the beer distributor. $13 for 24 cans. I'll put a link to a video where you can watch me review that. Anyway, if you were here last time and you saw me messing around, you'll know that I needed to buy another one of these. The end of the last video got kind of messed up. It was late, it was dark. I don't know if I sound sick, but I'm kind of sick. It was a lot worse the past few days. And yeah, I don't know what I even sounded like at the end of the last set of clips, you know, when we were out here in the dark trying to get it to work. But basically, the short end of the long stick, or the push to the shove, or the, you know, it being the way that it is, was that I needed to order another one of these because I may have fucked a little bit too hard, and the gasket that was in the middle of here is long gone. You'll have that, it be the way that it is. Time for the hatred and loathing post of the day is that I think I found an organization that, in the words of, you know, good old zip ties and bias supplies up there in the old north, in the old Alberta, you know, I think I found an organization that might be a little bit more stunned than Scamazon Primo itself, which is the U.S. Mail. Now, I have nothing against anyone who works there. In fact, I know a couple guys who work there that are absolutely great guys. Great guys. Shout out if you watch any of these videos. You probably don't. But anyway, I ordered, you see I have two packages, and I said I only needed one part. Well, this was the original package that showed up. And as you can see, she showed up completely empty. There is nothing in there at all. It's empty, completely useless. Thank you, mail. Now, it might have been Amazon's fault, but I have to think she got torn open in the distribution or something, and the part got long gone. Went to the mail office and, you know, asked them, you know, what can you be doing? And their answer was nothing. Call Amazon, which, you know, I really thought that Amazon would say, well, we can't do anything, call the mail. But Amazon actually said, we're sorry, that's unacceptable. We'll have a new part out to you on Sunday. They delivered this on Sunday. Or I should say, they forced the mail to deliver this on Sunday. But in part two of the mail being f***ing stunned, they clearly did deliver it here, but their distribution app on the internet said that they delivered it to 2 towns over, which got me a little bit scared. I was about to rip into the second PS Lite for lunch, but I got the notification that this got delivered to the next town over. And if it got delivered to the next town over, you'd never see it again, because there's a lot of bad stuff going on in that next town over there. Anyway, we got our part. Thank you to Scamazon Primo for doing the right thing for once. And no thanks to the mail. The mail was stunned. Anyway, we got our part, and I'll show you what the part here is and what it's supposed to look like. If you remember earlier in the video, I said this looked like the absolutely worst RTV job ever. Well, it's not. It's a rubber gasket. This here very, very clearly sands the rubber gasket. So this part, fiddle, gone. We're done with it. This here, we're going to install, and hopefully we can install it real quick. This thing doesn't leak down, and then we're good. So let's get you on there and hopefully get done with this. Again, if you don't see me very well, I'm here, but you know what I'm looking like. That's not super important. You're more worried about what I'm doing. You've seen me tear this thing apart 16 times. So there's really nothing all that interesting about that. Hopefully this sandwich is in here. This is supposed to line up on here. Like that. That's actually perfect. Then I guess it should sandwich up on this gasket as so. This should be looped back around here somehow, because if you remember, this isn't exactly the right carburetor, so this whole choke and everything is kind of just, well, I've sworn and edited enough in this video anyway. Everyone knows that I try to keep it a little bit PG here, just a little bit. Life kind of sucks the way that it is sometimes, so that's why, you know, the verbiage in some of these videos has changed a little bit from the beginning, but you know, it is what it is. You'll have that. Don't worry about it. Hopefully now, with the correct gasket and the correct everything, I could prime this thing and there is some bug near me and get out of here. The bug, stunned. Anyway, for anyone who might find this video, I'm not being a zip ties copycat. He'd probably call me stunned because I drive a Dodge. But he's a minty guy. Let me tell you, I don't know how I never found that guy until like a little bit ago. But if I ever get to meet him, we were in the same place at the Steam show. I somehow, I guess, you know, I didn't notice him. But if we ever meet, I'll give you an old PS Lite or maybe a Bush. I know he's a big fan of the Bush, but anyway, let's see. Does the old girl leak? Not a drop. Gonna prime it again. Prime 12 times. And I'm gonna crack it again to make sure that we're actually getting fuel to it when I prime it like that. Yes. So that means that I could prime this thing. I can prime it 12 times, which is way too many according to the book. And there's no leakage around the base of this housing, which means the reason why she was leaking before was because I filled the gasket and she was stunned. So now that we know that it runs, I think it's time to see if this thing will actually fire up, because I have no idea if this thing will actually run. I never tried, so yeah, let's get her going. Now, instead of doing the right thing and wheeling her over to the house or, you know, up the street or wherever, let's see, why don't we see if we can get one dirty derelict piece of equipment to start another. First, I guess we got to see if this thing will even start. That's good enough. Let me get you in there. So in theory, oh yeah. So I would push the key. Oh yeah. Will she pull start now though? The dirty old exhaust on this thing's smoking just a touch because, like I said, I don't think they ever got this thing started. You know, she's still got the bubble wrap on it. She's still got the tags on her. But I bet you she'll go now. Oh yeah. Runs every day of the week. Exactly how you'd like it to. I got you guys down in there just one more time because I want to give her a few more primes, and sure enough, she ain't leaking anymore. Not from nowhere. That exhaust is a little hot. Smokes a lot. That oil looks awful, actually. You'll have that. That's what you want. Really, it's not. I really should look into what type of oil this takes and do some sort of an oil change. They didn't pay for that. That oil smells awful. It smells like Honda. Not even Honda. That smells like Dodge differential fluid. Like, why would you want that? Say what you want. Both those snow blowers in the shop are far better than this Craftsman MTD rebrand here. That's enough of that thing. It can get out of there. There we go. She's going home to her owner. I'm about done with that thing. But while we're doing snow blowers, let's see if the two old let's see if they'll run. Why not? You're here. If you made it this far, a little treat, some two strokes for you. You guys will remember this. This is from the Avonmore video. I bet you this thing fires right up. She wants a little choke. Or I'll blow my arm out. Oh yeah. See this thing here? That's a real snow blower. Not this MTD junk. Granted, this might also have been MTD, but it was MTD back in like 1995, 2000. That thing actually runs. So let's take a look and see if the other MTD, the red one that actually is an MTD, let's see if that thing will fire up. I bet you this one fires right up too. Turn it on. Give her prime, put her on choke. Those two strokes start every time, and when they don't, you can usually just spray the juice down the throat, and they start every time. Not like that thing. That thing. How about this? I got it all running. Every piece of it. It's America right there, guys. America! Jose, can you see? Oh yeah. Let me just pull up a chair and let's have a little talk here. Chair was free. Anyway, we finally got the old SB230 running, and now it's time to get her on back to the customer. So at the end of the day,
Did I make any money on this? Well, not really. Customer gave me 60 bucks. Cost about 50 bucks in parts, and then after you factor in I had to put a little bit of gas in this thing to get it running, and I burned a lot of gas, you know, having derelict old fun. I didn't make any money, but it's not that important. I don't really care, because at the end of the day, we're learning, and that's all that really matters. She didn't have to come to me. She has a good enough job where she could have took this to any good mower center, and I don't know if any of the real mower small engine places would even want to work on this thing, because quite frankly, it's an MTD rebrand piece of junk, really. It's a shame that she probably spent $500 or $600 to buy this thing from the Lowe's 2 years ago, because, well, it's not even that good. It has a 3-year warranty on it, so really they should have just took it back. But she did the right thing and brought it to me, and I brought it to you. Drinking a Monster Ultra Red. But anyway, it's fixed now. It has OEM equivalent parts, which quite frankly, if they're not made in the same Chinese factory, they're made next door. So she's ready to run, and she's ready to get out of my shed. With that being said, I learned a lot of things, and I learned that there is money to be made. You know, any mower dealership or whatever you want to call it would have charged the customer at least $100 just to wheel this derelict piece of junk in the door. And I did the whole thing for basically the price of the parts. So what I would like to do, if I can find the space to do it, is just go on Facebook Marketplace and buy everybody's old derelict lawnmowers, weed whackers, and just, you know, stuff that's been sitting rotten behind the shed for 10 or 15 years. Spray a little bit of juice down the old hatch there, and then get her up and running and flip her over for 2 or 3 times as much. Because quite frankly, I could buy something for 50 bucks, put a little bit of money into it, and sell it for 100 or 200. And it would be way better than whatever you can buy at Lowe's. I wouldn't touch anything you buy at Lowe's or Home Depot with a 10-foot pole. I mean, if you give it to me for free, I'd run it. I mean, I'm sure this thing blows snow absolutely fine, but when you have to go and work on it, it's going to be absolutely just, you know, it's going to be beat, but it's brand new. Anyway, as you saw. But that's going to be all she wrote on this one. And, well, I know this video is probably way too long. And, you know, everybody complains that the videos are too long, but you know, if she's just, you know, I don't know everything there is to know. I'll never know everything there is to know, but what I do know is how to have a good time. Hopefully you guys came for the knowledge, and hopefully you'll come back because I know how to have a good time. But anyway, if you like what you saw here and you want to see more of it, just go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing a lot more stuff. Probably by the time you're seeing this, we've already moved on to the next stage of what's going to be going on here on the channel. You know, moving ahead with some of the plans from the Avonmore video. No, that shop probably still off the table, but going to be getting with some of them guys, and hopefully some even more faces, and we're going to be getting together, and we're going to try to get the quad done. And I have some other projects that I have planned over the winter if I can get the money and the location and the equipment and everything in place. That hopefully next year for 25, spring, summer, we're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff. Hopefully by then we have even more of a budget and even more space and even more plan and even more, you know, just way to send her all the way, if you know what I'm saying. But I can't do it without you guys. So if you like the video, like the video. And if you like the video, tell someone else to watch the video and like the video. Share it around, get the news out there. Let people know that Falappi's Garage is going full steam ahead. You know, there's a lot of days when the views aren't there and it's hard to do, and I don't want to edit. And I don't want to sit out here and mess with the stuff. And, you know, it'd be easy to quit because, you know, we don't get that many views and not that many people care. But at the end of the day, I hope that there's one guy who sits there every week and says, hey, Mike Falappi just posted a video, and that's enough for me. So if that's you, I don't know, like the video and say, hey, I wait every week for your video. Hopefully someday we can have merch and we can do stuff and we can get more people in on it and we can go full scale. But, you know, like I said, we can't do without you. But until then, we're just going to keep chugging away, doing everything out here and doing stuff with some other things we've got planned, working on small engines. And I'm happy that the weather's about to turn because I want to go back to looking at abandoned stuff and looking at history and doing all that stuff with you guys too. That's never gone anywhere. If you've been sitting around waiting for the old style Mike Falappi videos, they're coming back. We still got a lot of them. But anyway, like I said, thanks for watching the video. Remember to like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you right here next week at the same time in the same place here at Falappi's Garage. Well, I guess this isn't Falappi's Garage. This is my shed. But anyway, peace. See you next time.